entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. It's too much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm proud when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go, my God. Let's go. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
I know this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Glad to be back. Had to take care of a little business yesterday. Couldn't be in the studio, but was definitely keeping up with all the sports that went on yesterday. None bigger than the World Series got started with the LA Dodgers getting a win in game number 1 over the Tampa Rays. Thanks to Mookie. What's up, David Grubb? How you doing?
How you gonna give away the Mookie? That belongs to only one Mookie.
Okay.
You know, you giving them out. You gave out both Mookies. You gave out the Mookie Blaylock and you gave out the Mookie
I did.
What was Mookie Wilson. So now you just gave them both away.
I did.
That's
How do I get it back? How do I get it back?
I don't like the Dodgers, though. I don't like the Dodgers.
You know what? And I saw your post. I saw your interaction with someone about the Dodgers, and then they asked you, so you're rooting for the Rays, and then I guess you gave us some thought. You ain't rooting for them either. So what's one? Give us the back. David Grubb, host of CrescentCitySports.com, and writer for CrescentCitySports.com, host of Hard in the Paint. How come you don't like the Dodgers?
It's a historical thing for me. I've been a Yankee fan since I was born. My daddy grew up a Yankees fan, taught me to be a Yankees fan. So the Dodgers have no, place in my life. I hated the Dodgers first. The first World Series that I could remember was the 1981 World Series where the Dodgers beat the Yankees in 6 games. And then Reggie Jackson was gone the next year. So the Dodgers ruined my childhood. And so since then, those white uniforms, those stupid blue letters and the red numbers, they could just go anywhere with them. And I hope they never win anything throughout the history of the universe.
Okay. Tell us how you really feel.
Hey, Dave Roberts, I hate him because he stole second base in game 4 of the ALCS, and the Yankees won 3 games to none.
I'm actually rooting for Dave Roberts.
I can't. The man stole second base against the Yankees for the Red Sox.
I think he's got Texas connections. I don't care what he got. Ruined a season for me. So he's played and he's manages a team I hate, played for a team I hate. I ain't got no time for him. I wish the brother well, but I don't care who wins this World Series. It might as well be 7 games. I don't care if it goes 35 games. If there's a way that neither team could win, then I would be quite happy.
Maybe they get 3-3, and then they both get COVID, and they have to cancel the World Series. And then
David, that push COVID on the people so that they don't have to win.
Just a mascot or something that they have to cancel. I don't know.
The poor mascot ain't bothering nobody. Just trying to get a laugh, and you done gave him a dish of COVID.
Hey, look, I can't give LA nothing else this year either. LA don't need nothing else. I don't want LA to get nothing. They're getting too full of themselves over there.
You know they get ready to be title town. You know they get ready to be
where they
title
are.
town.
Tampa over there talking about it though. Tampa's like, hey, look at that. We got Stanley Cup. So
all I'm saying is LeBron and Magic are counting them down. That's one.
Hey, and Magic got money in both of those pots. So
I know. Everybody talking about Jerry West. I'm liking what Magic is doing right now.
Magic feeling good. Magic's got to be feeling good. But then my brother lives in LA now, so his son's a Dodger fan. So, and he grew up a Cubs fan. So I can't deal with it. Can't deal with it.
David, your nephews now. We talk about your blood relative nephew. You got to rock with your nephew. They looked up to Uncle David. Come on, man. I'm gonna give you a chance to retract all of this, and I'm gonna give you a chance to do the right thing by your nephews. Go ahead.
I love my nephews, Braden and Evan. If they ever hear this, I love you both, and I hope you're happy. If the Dodgers win, I hope you're happy. I won't begrudge you your happiness, but I will not participate in it. I will not participate in it. Can't do it. But it's on the field, though, yes, the Dodgers look like the Dodgers. They look like the team that people expected them to be from the beginning of the season, and they beat the Rays the way you have to beat the Rays. You cannot allow the game to stay close.
Yeah,
the Rays are the kind of team that wait you out. They wait for you to make mistakes. They are better disciplined than most teams. They don't beat themselves defensively. They don't give away extra outs. They don't make mistakes on the base path. They rely on their pitching and their group rather than any individual. The Dodgers just have top end individual talent, and that beats. In a one-on-one, sometimes that's all you got to have. And Mookie Betts was the best player on the field, and he's arguably the best player in baseball.
Man, let me just tell you something. I enjoyed. I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say I watched a ton of Dodgers baseball. I didn't watch a ton of anybody's baseball, but I enjoyed watching the Dodgers do the little things well. I enjoyed them, getting stealing the extra base, moving the runners around. I enjoyed the double steal. I enjoyed them sending Mookie to the plate. And, him sliding underneath the tag. I enjoyed all of that. I mean, they had some big balls, but they also manufactured runs. And growing up, watching the Big Red Machine and Sparky Anderson play that kind of ball. I mean, he had some bangers with Tony Perez and guys, George Foster and guys like that. But he also knew how to manufacture runs. And I feel like that's getting kind of lost in the game, right now. I'm not going to dog the Astros. They did what they did. But before Dusty, they didn't do a lot of manufacturing runs. They wanted Bregman to hit the big hit. They wanted Correa to hit the big hit, that kind of stuff. And they would go on these losing streaks because the bats went cold. Well, you can find other ways to generate runs and offense, and the Dodgers showed us that last night.
It's not supposed to be beer league softball. That's not what it's supposed to be, where you're right. Too many teams in baseball have decided that it's worth it to just play for the big hit. Mm-hmm. And if that's all you can do, in the postseason, that doesn't work. Yep. It doesn't work. And it's no different than when we talk about basketball and we talk about how the Rockets struggle in the postseason because offensively they don't have enough variety. They can't do multiple things. In any sport, if you don't have the ability to adjust the way you approach the game, either on offense or defense, there's going to become an opponent, no matter how talented you are, that you can't beat. And the Dodgers showed that even though they're a team that has guys, 4 or 5 guys who could drop 30 home runs on you any season, last night they got hits. You don't have to send it over the fence to win games. And you especially against a team like Tampa that relies on getting its pitchers into the right situations, bringing them in at the right time, taking them out at the right time. When you can put up 8 on them in a game, that messes them up, not for that, just for that game, but the next game too. And that's important when you're playing against Tampa. Is you have to get that pitching staff out of its comfort zone and make guys pitch more innings than they're accustomed to, make them go deeper into that bullpen because they are very situational situationally based, and the Dodgers upset that last night.
Yeah. Again, David Grubb joining us here on the lunch break. It is Winning Wednesday. I got to take a quick break. When we come back, man, I got to talk about Clayton Kershaw. Nasty. Golly, nasty. I mean, bruh, I got my contacts in today back when I played, and I played, Little League and Travel League and what have you. I couldn't see. And the fact that he's got one delivery that looks like 5 different pitches, oh, man, I would have been lost anyway, whether I could see or not. We'll be right back. David Grubb joining us here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. If you want to get in, you can do it. Also, I will announce the winner of this week's Lunch Break Weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge that we do every week on the show. I added on the show now. All right, we'll be right back right after this.
I feel good.
This is Oral G. Robinson. When people say my vote doesn't matter, when you don't vote, your vote counts against you. The other side gets a vote. If you want to fix our broken criminal justice system and reform your local police department to make it more accountable, you need to vote. If you want to increase economic prosperity in the black community, you need to vote. If you want to protect the right to vote, you need to vote. If you want more funding for our schools, you need to vote. Voting does matter. If Black Lives Matter to you, you need to vote. Early voting begins on October 13th and ends on October 30th. Election day is November 3rd. You need to vote. We all need to vote. If you don't vote, it will matter.
Paid for by the Communications Workers of America, District 6. Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues?
Man, we put in our bid for a house yesterday, and we put in our first bid on a house yesterday.
Okay.
And so now my wife is just texting me, telling me that, how high do we want to go? So the bad thing is if we don't get this, like, my daughter's not gonna forgive me, man. She's just not gonna forgive me if we don't get this house. She loves it. She was ecstatic when we saw it.
Get the house, bro.
So please call now. 800-251-7816.
Get the house.
I told my wife before we even saw it, when she sent me the pictures of it, I said, Natalia's not gonna let me say no. So I said, go ahead and put the bid. But, we have our max. We ain't going above that price, but we offer the full ask plus right now. So
okay. That's how I did it. That's how every house I bought. That's how I got it. I gave them what they asked for, and I gave them a little bit more because I didn't feel like,
we said full ask. We said plus a couple grand. We said, but bring the closing costs down to a little bit. And we'll see what they say. But I know my daughter gonna kill me if we don't get that. She's not gonna blame my wife at all. It's all gonna be me.
Exactly. Get the house, Dad.
Which is why she'll fight to protect the Affordable Care Act.
We even brought the dog to look at it. Like everybody came. Everybody.
And MJ is
it's gonna be real cold and quiet in that house if you don't get the house, bro.
To address systemic racism.
Play with your daughter, gonna be looking at your side eye. Yeah, one job, Dad. Yeah, one job.
Early or on November 3rd.
She is serious too. She said, I might not speak to you. She was like, Daddy. She said, I'm only kind of kidding. I said, what if I told her? I said, oh, come back up.
Department of Defense,
kind of kidding.
For by
the one she said. I said, what if the neighborhood is all Trump supporters and just us? And she said, arson.
Around in our world.
That's what my baby girl said, arson.
Keith Hennig said, old man advice, never take your child house hunting. You won't sleep.
So join me Saturday.
we didn't take her, but this one was the one that my wife was like, this is it. And so we brought her there, and I was like, yeah. I knew before we even saw it, though. I knew what she was going to do. So.
KYOKradio.org.
That's my baby.
You are listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, man. We got to send thoughts and prayers out for David Grubb. He's in a tight situation. He's got to pull it out, man. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, down by 3, bases loaded. Got to get the house, Dad. Got to get the house. You got to hit the home run, bro. Can't hit a single, can't hit a double. You got to clear the bases. Get the house, Dad.
And I tell you, look, this to me is I have never, since I left my mother's house, my parents' house to go to college, I've never lived anywhere longer than 2 years. Never. And part of that is by design because, to be honest, as somebody who lives with what I live with, bipolar disorder, I never thought that I would have permanency. Permanent roots with things that I, you say I don't want to establish something that I don't think I can do.
Right, I got you.
And now I got a 12-year-old sitting at there, looking at me and about to go to high school, and she needs permanency. She needs a place that she can, and especially in this world, as a parent, you just want to say, I want to give you a place that no matter what is going on outside, you can come in here and you feel all right.
Right.
And so that's the biggest thing is that getting over that anxiety is about her and my wife and just them and taking myself out of it. But yeah, I would love, we made an offer on our first house and we'll see what happens. It's just at this point, it's out of our hands. There's nothing you can do but just wait and see. But
obviously what you want is for them to take the offer, but then number two is if they don't take it, to give you a chance to counter. If they're smart, they don't take the second offer. They like, okay, let me see what this first couple is going to do and give you at least a shot to win it that way. Real quick, let me shout out to Dr. Sylvia Cole. She is host of Call to Inspire. They are on every Tuesday and does a phenomenal job. She's also a graduate from Jackson State University, home of Prime Time. Prime Time. It's going to be fun down there, man. I hope they don't get all goofy if they lose the first game by 25. Give a man a chance to be prime time. It's going to be fun.
Like I said, it could either be the greatest or the worst thing that ever happened to Black college sports. If he does it right, it could be the greatest. If he's in it for Dion, it won't work. If he's in it for the school, if he's in it to change this landscape of college football, which he could do.
Right.
He could do that. If he chooses that as his mission.
Yep.
It could be a game changer that goes beyond his life. You know what I'm saying? Like that could reverberate for decades if he does this right. Now, if he tries to make it happen overnight and thinks it's going to, you got to establish the financial structure. You got to establish a recruiting pipeline. All those things that takes building a program is a lot different than building a winning team.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm happy for him. I'm interested to see how it's going to go, and I am rooting for it. Let's close out this baseball thing. Our good friend, Erica Fernandez, very good broadcast journalist and writer in the sports arena herself, tweeted out last night, Ken Rosenthal just said Mookie Betts is baseball's LeBron James. Thoughts? What are your thoughts, say?
Baseball's different. There's no one player in baseball who can elevate an entire team by himself. There just isn't. It just isn't. It's too easy. We saw Barry Bonds, the best player of our lifetime. I mean, but he couldn't win a World Series.
Yeah.
Just couldn't do it. Ken Griffey Jr. never won a World Series.
Yeah.
Willie Mays got one.
Right.
So it's not easy. So I think that's having LeBron James in basketball instantly makes you a contender for the championship.
Right.
Having Mookie Betts doesn't do that. If you want to say Mookie Betts is the best player in baseball, okay, but I don't think that you would say, I don't know if you could definitively say LeBron James is the best player in basketball right now. You know what I mean? So what is I don't like the parallel because I don't think it's fair to either person. It's Mookie Betts on his own. You don't need to compare Mookie Betts to anybody. Right. You watch him play, enjoy watching that man play baseball because there aren't people like him.
That last night, that sequence where he got on, where he stole a base, where he then almost got picked off on third, then he led the double steal to third, and then the way he scored after that, man, I was like, he just took over that sequence of the game.
That's he literally. We used to call that a Ricky run, remember? Ricky Henderson end up on first, steal second, steal third, and somebody knocked him in and you scored a run. So if you want to compare about somebody in that situation, it ain't LeBron James, it's Ricky Henderson.
Yeah.
That's who it would be.
What's interesting, Keith Hennig said what a lot of people said on Erica's post. What about Mike Trout? Mike Trout is one of those guys like a Dan Marino greatest player right then and there, but on a horrible team. So we may never see Mike Trout in a World Series, and guess what? He don't have forever. So
I think Mike Trout's only been in the postseason once. So yeah, it's and again with Mike Trout, I could stack 10 guys in a lineup, and you wouldn't be able to pull Mike Trout out of it. Most people wouldn't, and that's part of baseball's problem too with this World Series is that they better start creating some stars. You better sell hard on Mookie Betts. You can't sell pitchers. It doesn't matter how good Clayton Kershaw is. Pitchers are not what move merchandise. When baseball had celebrities.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Go ahead, finish that thought.
It's always sluggers. Yeah. And it's guys who do really acrobatic things, whether it was an Ozzie Smith or, like when baseball has, you better be a character and you got to be able to hit home runs. You got to be able to and there's just something to that. You need a big poppy type figure to emerge from this World Series. Mookie Betts has the ability to do that, but is baseball going to be a good partner in creating that? Because baseball does a horrible job of marketing its individual stars.
They really do. And I don't know if that's because of the old school nature of the sport. You still got those old heads that just ain't gonna let somebody just flip their bat and do the boogaloo all the way down to first base without some, legendary person who's gone on before us turning over in their proverbial grave. Like now the whole sport is ruined.
People have fun.
There's no such thing as fun at certain times. And then there's all these unwritten rules, and there's some folks that just ain't gonna let that go. But what I will say is this, man. Clayton Kershaw with his stuff was pretty interesting. Seeing the the still shots of his arm on top of the ball, and then what it did after that, and what the hitters were looking for. He was nasty with that slider, man. They said it perfectly. It starts off like the fastball, it comes in like the fastball, and then it just disappears in the catcher's glove. And it's like they're swinging where it was, and it ain't there no more. And it's just like, that looks like the fastball, and you have the ability to do all that with the ball. I'm good. Here, y'all, pitch hit for me, coach, because I ain't got it. I ain't ready.
You got that Randy Johnson level slider.
Yeah.
It bites so hard.
Right.
And it's just Kershaw. I mean, people have let that postseason number be the thing that messes them up, but you better appreciate greatness while it's still in front of you.
While it's in front of you.
And this dude is historically great. And people did that same thing with Pedro Martinez for a long time and talked about, Pedro's not great in the postseason. And then he put together a couple of starts. That's all it takes. Because again, this is about matchups. People act like baseball has so many variables. Yep. Stadium to stadium, pitcher to lineup, all those things. So, yeah, and you take out 2 starts from Kershaw's career, really, 2 starts, and he had a sub 3.5 ERA in the postseason.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that out of a guy. And he set the tone. The Dodgers set a tone. The great thing about baseball is that managers now, this is where you get to see how good are they, what adjustments do they make. And the thing about the Rays is the biggest adjustment they've made in the postseason is not adjusting, is being true to who they are and making other teams eventually bend their will to them. They made the Yankees play like they play.
Right.
They made, so this is what they do. They did it to the Astros. They forced the Astros to play a game that they didn't want to play.
Right.
And so let's see if they can do that here against the Dodgers. The only difference was that the Rays had the lead in both of those series from jump. So we'll see what happens this time with them. But yeah, the Rays got some work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me take a quick break. We'll come right back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Winning Wednesday.
Great time to replace your worn-out windows during the Renewal by Andersen 25-year savings event. Upgrade your home today. Buy 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Plus, get 12 months with no interest, no money down, and no payments. Call now. Get 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Installation and warranty included. Renewal by Andersen takes every CDC-recommended safety precaution to protect your family. For 25 years, people have trusted us for their window replacement needs, and you can too. Call now to learn about our buy 4, get the 5th one free window replacement offer.
800-245-1537. 800-245-1537. 800-245-1537. That's 800-245-1537.
Interest accrues from date of purchase, but is waived if paid in full within 12 months. Other conditions apply. We've adjusted our operations to serve you safely following all CDC guidelines. Visit renewalbyanderson.com for details.
This is Barack Obama, and I want to talk with you about the choice you have for your next U.S. Senator. I hope you'll vote for MJ Hager. MJ served 3 tours in Afghanistan as a combat search and rescue pilot, receiving a Purple Heart and Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor. She's also a working mom who knows the struggles families face to afford health care, which is why she'll fight to protect the Affordable Care Act. Progress we all worked so hard to achieve, and Republicans keep trying to repeal. And MJ is firmly committed to making the reforms we need to address systemic racism and create a more fair and equitable America. And that's why, whether you vote early or on November 3rd, I hope you'll join me in supporting Democrat MJ Hager. We need her, United States Senate, but she needs your vote to get there.
I'm MJ Hagar, and I approve this message.
Use of military record does not imply endorsement of the Department of Defense. Paid for by MJ for Texas.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
I got some new drops, David. I got some new drops. I'm getting ready to pull the cover off of them. Take that little shrink wrap paper off of them and bust them out. David, a couple of weeks ago, the question was, can you dance? Can you dance, David?
Yeah, I can dance.
David, can you dance?
Like, I ain't gonna go on no stage, but I can dance. My sister's a dancer. Now that's the one. She's professional. I ain't no professional. So I can dance. I ain't gonna embarrass myself.
So, David, if your song come on and you be like, that's my song.
I'm not gonna look like Elaine from Seinfeld. No, that ain't gonna be me. I'm not gonna be out there embarrassing. I can hold the beat. I can dance.
Okay. You know about a beat, and you know you have to not be near it, around it, but you got to be on it.
Yes, I know that the funk is on the 1. I know that the beat is on the 2 and the 4, but the funk drops on the 1. If you don't know that the funk is on the 1, then you're missing the whole thing.
You're gonna be in trouble. We've already determined that CJ, longtime lunch breaker, can't dance. I don't think Dr. Sylvia Cole can dance. I think Dr. Sylvia Cole is straight Jackson State and called to inspire. She probably do that Holy Ghost dance. She probably got that. Keith Hennig, I don't know. Keith Hennig got that old school kind of I'm real fly. So he can probably do something you like.
At least gotta have a 2-step. You know, you gotta have that 2-step that you could drop in at any time. You know.
El Michelle said she can dance. Amber said she can dance. It's a few people said they can dance, but you know what? I don't know, man. I got a good friend too, Terrell Rollins. Man, I'm trying to tell you, just awesome, just brilliant, beautiful, and all that. Can't dance, bro.
Man, you can't go to New Orleans high schools. You know, look, you can't go to New Orleans high schools and not learn something, because you better figure it out. Because as much music as you're gonna hear, and you know how we do, you know how New Orleans is. I had to learn to dance. If I did not figure that out, I wasn't going. How else was you going to talk to girls in high school?
I'm just saying. I know this to be true. I went to De La Salle.
Yeah,
so I had to save the whole campus because they couldn't dance. Oh, and here's my one of the high school classmates, Amy Boucher, Claire Castro, Johnson Jones. Bless her heart, man. She can dive. She can do gymnastics. She's an amazing mother, man. She's just two of the most beautiful kids in the world. Can't dance though, bro. She can't dance. Like it's almost painful that she can't dance. It's like, Amy, no.
See, my wife always tells, she says I'm a shy dancer, because like she takes me to salsa stuff. You know, she loves to dance, but I'm very self-conscious. I am much better when the room is like a party, when it's dark and you can't. I feel free to move, but when the lights are enough that I can see too many people, then I get shy. That's when I get shy. I'm like,
you got to dance like you on Superstar. Like nobody.
It was like people are looking, and then I'm like, I get shy.
Or Napoleon Dynamite, bro. You just got
teddy bear, man. I get shy. Like Morris Day said, gigolos get lonely too. I'm outspoken and I get shy sometimes.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Keith Hennig said, "Yeah, but adult beverages really enhance my dance skills."
Liquid courage.
Coffee does that to me too. Coffee does that to me too.
Irish coffee.
Let's get back to this weekend in sports. Real quick, I was off yesterday, and a lot of folks were still responding to the discussion that we had about Nick Saban and Alabama. I will just go ahead and declare this safely. There are people out there that worship Nick Saban, and he can do no wrong. Some of the vitriol in the text messages that I received, all because it was Nick Saban. And them, with all what Nick's done, we will definitely take his word over who are you again? That's cute. All that's cute and fine. You were listening to my show. I wasn't listening to yours. So I'm saying Nick Saban is human. Nick Saban has won national championships. Nick Saban also is the same dude that was about to get fired in Miami and walked off the job. Nick Saban, he wasn't born and raised at Alabama. Nick Saban fell into Alabama. So let's not get it real twisted. And by the way, Nick Saban and them didn't even make did they even make the playoffs last year? I don't think they did. So college football player. So Nick Saban is real human. Nick Saban is taking advantage, and I'm not saying negatively. I'm just saying he's given the opportunity that he has this year. Yeah, they look like the second best team in the country.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
I was gonna say not everybody's playing right now, and you never know how many teams are full strength. I mean, Vanderbilt, for crying out loud, says that they don't have 53 healthy players right now. And that's not that they have corona, but they're contact tracing, and they're quarantine. Gets back to my point. Why do the players have to be quarantined for 10 days? And Nick Saban was able to get a positive diagnosis. Not that he came in contact with anybody, but that he himself was the body. And then when he could not get the SEC to allow him to break the rule, coach remotely, then all of a sudden, give me a bunch of tests. Give me a bunch. What's that say? No? Okay, use that one. What's this one say? Yes. No, don't use that one. What's this one say? No? Okay, take those two, give them to the league, and then I'll be out there on Saturday. Why does Nick Saban get to bend the rules and the players don't?
Because the players have no power. They have no agency. They have no one to represent them who speaks on their behalf. And the coach, Nick Saban, is bigger than Mark Emmert. Nick Saban is bigger than the letters NC, A, and A. And there's a reason why across programs, whether it's football, basketball, there are certain coaches who will never get touched because they are more important to the business of the sport than they are to the integrity of the sport. And Nick Saban is one of those people. And that, again, it's not to attack his personal character. He's doing what coaches do and what most people would do. You want to work in your job. You want to try to find a way to do what it is that you think you should do. But it's the responsibility of others who are in supposedly higher positions, like your athletic director, your university president, the commissioner of the SEC, the president of the NCAA. It is up to all of those people to enforce rules in a reasonable manner. And like you said, for players to have to go out for 10 days and be youth, the group that everybody said, well, they're the most healthy. Why are we doing all this stuff to protect them in the first place? And yet there's a man who's over 60 years old around a bunch of other coaches who could be at risk and players at risk and trainers and all these folks. He gets a different set of rules when, and logically speaking, you would think that the criteria would be more stringent for him than it would be for the players who are supposedly in the peak of their physical condition.
Yeah, let me just say this. I don't care about Nick Saban at all. I made it very plain. If I had a 5-star D1 quality player, one place I know he's not going is Alabama. Second place I know he's not going is Clemson. Third place I know he's not going is Nebraska. Fourth place I know he's not going
Mississippi State.
ain't going to nan one. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go there while I'm on it. If y'all want to make it personal between me and Nick Saban, let me just tell you something. I have no respect for Dabo Swinney. I have no respect for Steve Sarkisian. I don't. I don't think that, and it all boils down to one thing. It is not fair for coaches like that, for men like that, for people like that, to get preferential treatment when somebody else in that exact same position would not get it. And I'm not going to make it a black thing or a racial thing. But Steve Sarkisian was an alcoholic around students, around young people. He wasn't having problems at his home. He wasn't having problems, out in the community. He was having problems in front of young people and did not sit himself down. He had to be sat down by the university. While he was sitting down, Nick Saban invites him to hang around Alabama. What? More children. And when the offensive coordinator gets another job, who gets one day to be the offensive coordinator of the number one football team in America? Steve Sarkisian. Why? Why him? Lane Kiffin is one of the most shisty, shady, just untrustworthy people in the sport. And he goes from job to job to job. And now he's in the SEC like he deserves to be. Why does he deserve to be? What makes him so special that he gets all this? I'm not covering this nonsense. And I'm not going to give them credit for being who they are. And that's untrustworthy. I'm not.
No, you can clearly differentiate between on-field success and ethics. And that's what you can have that conversation and say, yes, Nick Saban is the most successful college football coach of the modern era. And then you can also ask very direct questions about it. Coaches like him and Dabo Swinney who speak up on things all the time, but will not fight for their players to have the same protections that they have. And
right, hold on a second. Let me address TD Blackshear, good brother. Said, do we not look out for our friends? Yeah, we look out for our friends, but do you put them in a situation where they have influence over young people when clearly you're not ready to be in that position?
Yeah, it was the time. It wasn't the fact that Steve Sarkisian is an irredeemable individual. Everybody deserves an opportunity if you show that you've taken care of the steps. But he hadn't been gone away a year. Like you said, it wasn't even a full year to get alcoholism in check. If it had been cocaine, if it had been, nobody would have been saying that it's okay for him to be on the sidelines of a national, of a football program, of any, at high school, college, pro. You would have said this dude needs to be away. If it had been an athlete, you would have said you need to be away. If a player on a team had said, I've been drinking and coming to practice drunk, nobody, and it got cut from their team, nobody would around say, I want that guy to get picked up right now, without knowing that there are problems and without giving them a reasonable enough time to deal with that problem. There's no way you can correct alcoholism by going back into a high stress situation before you've dealt with alcoholism. That's just fact. And so, yeah, it's not about, look, nepotism exists. It always will. But at the same time, if you put unqualified people in those positions, then that's the failure. Or if you put people who don't belong in a certain time. He said that timing is everything, because Nick Saban can't be bigger than the University of Alabama.
Can't be bigger than sport.
Whatever he does is supposed to reflect on the University of Alabama and its values and its mission. So what is that action saying about the University of Alabama? And again, I would say Nick Saban is bigger than Alabama, the SEC, the NCAA. And that is not a position any person should be in.
I was going to stay away from this comparison, but I'm going to go ahead and make it. I'm not saying that Alabama and what happened at Penn State are in any way remotely the same. Stay with me. If you are an intelligent sports person, stay with me. This is why Joe Paterno had to go at Penn State, because sitting in that room with the athletic director, the president of the university, the regents, and whoever else was in that room, the most powerful person in that room was not the president, was not the athletic director, was not the regent. It was Joe Paterno. And when Joe Paterno brought it forward and then didn't follow up on it and then didn't make sure that somebody followed up on it, then it fell on the most powerful person in the room, Joe Paterno. That's why he had to go. That's why the statues had to come down. That's why the university had to turn itself over, and they did. Folks, Franco Harris and all the Penn State alumni didn't understand that. Just, bloody murder. Sorry. That's why. It's the same thing with Nick Saban. If you can't be trusted to say, do, and enact the right things in front of these children, like when you get a positive COVID-19 test. Hey, listen, as bad as I want to be out there, I don't want to cause any harm. I don't want anybody. We promised we were going to protect those kids. It starts with me. I'm going to sit this one out. I trust Steve. I trust the rest of my staff. I trust these young people. They're prepared. They're ready to go. Go Bama. Roll Tide. Whatever your slogan.
You set the tone for the state. Again, I've lived in Alabama. My mother is from Birmingham. And I remember as a kid, Bear Bryant and how large he loomed over that entire state. If Bear Bryant told you to do something, things got done. Like they put him on billboards for everything possible. Right. In Louisiana, when this whole stuff started, in most states, when these things started happening, who did they go get? In Louisiana, it was Ed Orgeron. They had him doing ads for the state about our COVID response and telling people what they needed to do. So if you have that kind of profile, you are setting the tone. And if you, as Nick Saban, say to the people of Alabama, this is no big deal, I'll be out there working, then what do you expect them to do? Because they think that they are trusting enough in you, and most people aren't. People say, no, people don't follow like that. They absolutely do. They take their cues from people like that, and that's not. It's tone deaf by the university. It's a bigger message that you're sending to these folks. And when you talk about accountability, I'll give you another local example. A friend of mine was the head coach at St. Augustine High School, one of the most storied programs. One of the few all-black Catholic schools in this country. And he's the head coach. And you know what that means in this area. You know what that means. And last year, he lost his job because a couple of his assistants were leading the players in chants that they should not have been. Using language that is the antithesis of what St. Augustine says it represents.
Right.
He got fired. His staff got fired too, but he got fired. He wasn't involved in it. He wasn't in the room, but he knew. And I've talked to him since. And and I had him on my radio show at the time. He knew that ultimately it was his responsibility.
Right.
That no matter what went on in that locker room, ultimately he had to pay the price for it, positive or negative. And so, Nick Saban has to be held to that same standard.
Yep. No, I agree. Hey, we got to take a quick break. We'll come back with more. David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, writer for CrescentCitySports.com. Winning Wednesday. If you want to get in, 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. It's the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
This is Barack Obama, and I want to talk with you about the choice you have for your next U.S. Senator. I hope you'll vote for MJ Hager. MJ served 3 tours in Afghanistan as a combat search and rescue pilot, receiving a Purple Heart and Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor. She's also a working mom who knows the struggles families face to afford health care, which is why she'll fight to protect the Affordable Care Act. Progress we all worked so hard to achieve, and Republicans keep trying to repeal. And MJ is firmly committed to making the reforms we need to address systemic racism and create a more fair and equitable America. And that's why, whether you vote early or on November 3rd, I hope you'll join me in supporting Democrat MJ Hager. We need her in the United States Senate, but she needs your vote to get there.
I'm MJ Hagar, and I approve this message.
Use of military record does not imply endorsement from Department of Defense. Paid for by MJ for Texas.
I'm Gary Bledsoe, Texas NAACP president. In my lifetime, we have worked and sacrificed to make real progress.
That's right, Gary. I'm Claude Cummings, Vice President of the Communication Workers of America. Our community is under attack again.
Our jobs are being exported. The court system has largely turned its back on us, and people need to realize, Claude, is the last election amounts to a true revolution, where all those gains in civil rights and human progress are actually being targeted.
I know powers in Washington won't deny health care to working people who have pre-existing conditions, eliminate environmental protections for minority communities. It even encourages racism.
We thought those days were gone.
Dr. King said the time is always right to do what is right.
Let's do what's right. Let's vote and get your family and friends to vote too. If you don't, you should not be surprised to see drastic changes in your world.
Vote early or on election day.
Political advertising paid for by the Communications Workers of America.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health insurance for as little as $6 a day.
That's right.
Yes, now you can get affordable health insurance for you and your family immediately, starting at just $6 a day. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. That's right, for about $6 a day, you can have guaranteed health insurance. And there's dental, vision, and prescription coverage too. You owe it to yourself and your family to make this free call right now and learn more. There are no deductibles, no waiting period, no contracts, and coverage is guaranteed. Call National Health right now for your risk-free guaranteed health insurance quote starting at just $6 a day. Call now.
800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. That's 800-797-0921. Paid for by GoHealth.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, bro. I'm finna just go. I'm gonna stick these on my car stereo. Just let them roll. I'm finna let them roll. Bluetooth, baby. Bluetooth.
I did that with my theme the first day I had it. I put that in the car and just drove around with it because I love that sucker.
They're gonna be looking at me like, "What are you listening to?"
My show. My show. This is my thing.
Hey, it is the lunch break here on the legendary KYOK, all new 92.3 FM. David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, along with being a writer for CrescentCitySports.com. Joining me here, I'm going to leave the Alabama stuff alone. There are folks that are thinking that the SEC was really smart to start early because now they got time to postpone games should they get hit with COVID. But, you know, folks like the Big Ten and Pac-12 and all them, they don't have as much time to postpone game. So now watch this. Them competing in the college football playoffs is in jeopardy. Are we still in the middle of a global pandemic? Is it over? Did I miss it? I went to sleep last night. Is it over now? And now everything is specifically about the number of games you play and getting into the college football playoff, which, by the way, is not run by the NCAA. You know, this is something some rich people put together and say, "Oh yeah, we know how to do it. Let us do it for you." What have I missed?
That's the thing is, you know, you just saw in Ann Arbor, Michigan. There was a headline today about the Michigan football team basically having to be isolated from the rest of the campus now because COVID infections in Ann Arbor on that campus have spiked to 6.1%, I think, of the campus that now is infected. That's going to happen across college campuses as we get deeper into the winter. Because kids, this is what they do. No matter what age, from 5 to 25, young people are going to cluster.
Right.
You can't stop them.
Right.
And if you let them have those opportunities, they will. And they're going to go home and they're going to give it to their families, or they're going to get it from somebody in the neighborhood and they're going to bring it right back to campus. And these athletes are not going to be immune from that either. And like you said, for Vanderbilt to be one of those places that's hit, which has a much smaller student population than these major state schools, look, it's going to happen again. And you can't keep postponing things. You can't keep going further and further into the calendar, because this whole notion of that this championship is valid anyway is silly to me, because the schedules are more incompatible than they've ever been.
Right.
So this whole thing is just a farce. Just to say we want to play as many games as we can to make some money. Championships, take them off the table.
Right.
Nobody cares. This year is none of these championships are going to mean anything.
Yeah.
But if you just want to say we're trying to make our money back, then be honest about it and let's stop playing around.
That's what I said Monday, and folks took exception to that. It's a farce. It's just we're the best. We are the champions. I mean, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Whatever happens, the SEC is going to claim supremacy because they're the SEC. The ACC is going to claim that they were, valid, what have you. The Big 12 is going to claim it. The Big 10 is going to slide in the back, and then it'll be somewhere either the Pac-12 or some obscure group of 5 team. Listen, T.D. Blackshear said, so is it COVID or is it the flu? Let's just be honest. They were going to play football this year no matter what. Anything short of flesh falling off their bones, anything short of somebody spontaneously combusting and blowing up on the 50-yard line, they were going to play, and these guys were going to claim supremacy. I am the champion. I am better than everybody. Yeah, but you didn't play as me. Yeah, but our winning percentage was better, and all of that. This was inevitable. So my thought is, let them have it. That's what you want. That you want to be the king of the hill? Good for you. You want to be the captain of the sandbox? Good for you.
Because all these things are meaningless anyway. Because people have to remember the bowl playoff, all these things. Ever since there's been a bowl alliance, ever since there's been an NCAA, there is no such thing as a Division I football champion. You can open up the record books. There is not a Division I champion. Or
I love what Central Florida did a couple of years ago.
You might as well claim it.
I absolutely
it means nothing.
And they looked at Nick Saban in the camera and said, "Shut up! You didn't even win your state. You didn't even win your conference. We are the national champions of the world." And they had banners and they gave out rings. And you know who was on TV talking about Central Florida? Nick Saban. Oh, I think this is dangerous for the sport. Shut up.
At least 5 of Alabama's national championships are disputed as to whether or not they really own national championships. From those days back in the 30s and 40s, we had, if you got declared a champion by any paper or any poll, you got to claim the national championship. These are things for people to argue about, but they are not definitive. Not one is definitive because it doesn't exist in the record book. It does not exist. There's no such thing as a college football champion at that level.
Let me help somebody because I know what they're doing right now. Google doesn't count. Google doesn't count. If you Google national champs and you get a list of national champions, it doesn't make it official. Just means your internet works. It doesn't make it official. So stop with this. Go ahead.
It's like winning. It's if in college basketball, it'd be no different than like winning to me, it's like winning, one of those Christmas tournaments.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
You could say, because people, if you only have a subjective measure as the way you put people into a postseason, and it's heavily weighted by the polls at the start of the season,
right?
Then you have an undue influence of subjective factors. If I have your team ranked 30th at the beginning of the season, the level you have to climb up to get into that position is based on others' opinion of your team, how you win and who you beat. But those perceptions of who you beat are based on who they play and preconceived notions as well. The whole notion of SEC dominance is based on the fact that the teams at the top are really, really good.
Yep.
But the teams at the bottom ain't that great.
Are really, really bad.
When was the last time you really cared about the University of Mississippi's football team? When was the last time you really cared about Mississippi State's football team? When was the last time you really cared? Tennessee hasn't been relevant in 20 years.
Bruh.
In 20 years, Tennessee hasn't been relevant.
And
South Carolina has not been relevant.
Yep.
So, let's stop this whole thing about the SEC. This is about fueling, like you said, it's about who has the money and gets to fuel the power. Because the SEC defenses that they talk about, what are they doing this year? They're getting run up on by everybody. And so people are scoring points like they ain't never scored points before. But people are saying SEC defenses are better than anything you ever going to see. Well, Ohio State and Penn State and Michigan State, Minnesota last year, they were just top. Now, you could argue about the ACC, yeah, because behind Clemson, there ain't much.
Right.
But the SEC's dominance is based on the fact that they never drop when they lose to each other. And so those things are too subjective for you to say definitively who the best team is. Because I still tell you, I would guarantee you that if we go back and look, even in the last 20 years, we will still have arguments about half the teams crowned national champion as to whether they won that playoff or not, whether they were the best team in the country.
Yeah. What's crazy is, and I know AP dropped LSU and UT out of the top 25, but there are other polls right now that still have LSU and UT
with a losing record
ranked in the top 25 with a losing record. It means nothing. I might as well put a poll out. It means as much as anybody else's.
They don't know anything. You don't know. And that's the thing. People take their teams and say, well, this is what they did last year. This is what we expect them to do this year. And we put a poll up there. And that's how we rank these teams.
Right.
Where else? Like even if you were talking about boxing rankings, if I'm number 2 and I beat number 1, then I'm number 1. It's that simple. It's very simple. But here we have to have these levels of this. Are you 2? You belong to 4? Does 1 drop to 3?
And that's why I can't do it this year, but that's why last year I ranked the top teams, top 25 teams, FCS, FBS, NAIA, SAIC, you name it. If you had a good record, I ranked you amongst the best.
And you know this too. There are 3 lost teams that are better than 1 lost teams.
Absolutely.
And it's just, we see it in the NFL. You see it in, your record. It is what it is, like Bill Parcells says. It is what you are. But at the same time, when you start talking about really great teams, you can be a 12-4 team that's better than a 14-2 team. We've seen it time and time again. It's just who did you have to play? When did you play them? Were you injured on that day? All those things play into come into play.
Yeah. Well, in fact, we'll talk about some football after we get Sybil Wilkes on. We'll get her coronavirus update from her, and then we'll also get ready for the second hour. Let's go ahead and get Sybil Wilkes, David Grubb joining us right here on Winning Wednesday. I still haven't announced the winner of this week's Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Challenge, and it did not come down to a tiebreaker this week. So, interesting. We'll do that next on the Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. In a review written by doctors for the American College of Cardiology, doctors report that long-term heart damage is likely in some survivors of the virus. The coronavirus affects blood clotting, damages the lungs, and their ability to process fresh oxygen into the blood. Earlier this week, U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar said that anyone who wants to get a COVID-19 vaccine will be able to do so by March or early April of 2021. Azar's announcement comes as many Americans continue to cast doubt on the safety of a vaccine. The Fair Isaac Corporation, known as FICO, reports that the average consumer credit score has gone up during the pandemic. The average credit score now stands at 711. For some families, the pandemic brought credit relief by allowing them to pay off their debts faster using all or a portion of their stimulus checks. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed.
Stimulus checks was that good?
What's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now
you got rid of all your debt with that stimulus check?
Let me get back in here. It's the Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Sybil Wilkes just said something that had David scratching his head. Who had that stimulus check that was that good that they were able to pay off most of their debt? I mean, wasn't the stimulus check?
I missed that stimulus. Mine didn't come like that.
Was it $1,200? I didn't even get that. Was it $1,200? What was it?
I didn't do all that for me. I mean, I paid some bills, but I didn't get out of debt. I mean, like, get out of it? Yo, good for you. If that's all you had, good for you.
I ain't hate nobody, but bruh, now that you're looking for the second round of stimulus, send that my way so I can do what you did the last time.
Student loans got to go. You and somebody would pay my mortgage? Come on, let's do all that. Yeah.
Your mortgage go up, bro. Your mortgage. Get the house, David. Get the house. I don't mean to bring it back up, but get the house, David. Anyway, let me get a quick sports update before we get into this second hour. Let's see. LA Dodgers took Game 1 of the World Series by a score of 8-3 in Tampa. Game 2 will be tonight just after 7 o'clock Central, live on Fox. They're playing up in Arlington. And AJ Hinch, I'm not AJ Hinch, Jeff Lunau, really concerned about him. Got a chance to see his interview about the cheating scandal. Doesn't look like much contrition there. We'll keep you posted. Texans hosting Green Bay Sunday at noon. Also, Cowboys at Washington Sunday at noon. Published reports say players are upset because new head coach Mike McCarthy and staff were totally unprepared in the 38-10 loss to Arizona. New Orleans going to host Carolina Sunday at noon as well. NFL could move the Super Bowl back to March if it keeps getting postponed games due to COVID-19. And that is our sports update for this first hour. All right, we'll be right back right after this, hour number 2 on the lunch break.
Will never
The legendary 1140
They
AM.
hired Mike McCarthy. They hired Mike McCarthy. Aaron Rodgers been telling people for years
The views
that
and
Mike McCarthy don't know
all radio
nothing.
broadcasts on KYOK are entirely those
That dude was holding him back.
who are entirely responsible for
That
all
they would have won more rings if they had a different coach.
opinions of
And
KYOK
then they bring him all the way to Dallas because you know why? Because he won't say nothing to Jerry.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Yeah, that story coming out of Dallas, Mike McCarthy, of course, responded and said, we're playing football, so, we got to handle these things man to man. So, watch you say it directly to the person instead of saying it to the media. Translation, say it to my face. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, writer for CrescentCitySports.com, hour number 2 on Winning Wednesday. What's going on in Dallas, David?
They got what they paid for. You got what you paid for. There's a reason that Mike McCarthy is not in Green Bay. And he squandered years of Aaron Rodgers' career. Squandered draft picks, didn't build enough there. And you take him into Dallas, you take a guy with, again, who fits the mold of what Jerry Jones has been doing ever since Bill Parcells left. Hire coaches who won't fight.
Hold on, David. Did you get the breaking news?
No, I did not.
Get the breaking news. Are you sitting down?
The Pelicans hired a coach.
David, I love you, man. I'm here for you.
I don't see nothing.
You don't see nothing?
I don't see nothing on there. I'm on ESPN. I don't see nothing. They haven't posted it. What did I miss?
That's your problem now. You're going to the wrong place. Stan Van Gundy has agreed to become the next coach of the New Orleans Pelicans.
Well, we knew that was going to happen now.
No, we didn't know that was going to happen. Why is that happening? Why? 2020, stop. Stop it.
After he became the only name we were hearing, I mean, we pretty much decided that was it. It was going to happen.
What happened to Unsell? What happened to other people?
I think the Pelicans are doing what a lot of teams do. They are taking what they view as the safest route possible in order to try to hang on to Zion Williamson. I don't think I don't know.
Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy should be the voice for a cartoon show. Stan Van Gundy should be the voice in an animated movie. Stan Van Gundy should not be the head coach of an NBA basketball team.
No, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. I told you my preferences. I had my list, and he wasn't on that list. But
what's wrong with Gilbert? What is wrong with you? You mean to tell me Gilbert interviewed all these people? Griffin. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking the owner. I interviewed all these people and came out of those meetings and like, yeah, that Van Gundy guy is sharp. That's the guy we need with Zion Williamson and Lonzo Ball and all these other young players. That guy.
Yeah. Like what I'm looking for my email from the Pelicans because that's what's going to come next because I'm going to get that release soon. And as soon as I get that release and I get to be on the conference call and ask some questions, I really am. I know they're not going to tell us the other names. That never happens. They're not going to tell us who they talk to. But I really want to find out what the criteria was. And I really want to know that first opportunity to talk to Stan is going to be they're going to be a lot of questions. I know there are going to be a lot of questions, and I have a lot of questions. I'm worried because they can't miss 2 straight postseasons. The NBA obviously does not want to see Zion Williamson out of the postseason twice, and the West is only getting harder. So there's a lot of pressure on David Griffin. This might be his one and only coaching hire if it doesn't go well. That's a simple fact. Is you cannot blow having Anthony Davis and then Zion Williamson within a 6-year span.
My point.
And it could. So if they don't win this year, and I'm not talking about win the West, but I'm saying if they don't get like 45 wins this season, you're going to hear from the national media how long till Zion is asked to get out of town. So they better be sure. I wasn't in the room. I didn't get to conduct the interviews, but David Griffin is putting his career, because let's look at this. David Griffin's reputation is built off of the unexpected decision of LeBron James to go back to Cleveland. It's that simple. What he did in Cleveland, he was not, Phoenix was not in charge of that. He was part of it, but he wasn't in charge of it. Then you go to Cleveland, you get this opportunity. You're the guy who pushed to draft Anthony Bennett first, and that was one of the worst number 1 picks ever. And then you threw that kid under the bus. You lucked out. You get LeBron to decide on his own to come back and tell you what teammates he wants, and you facilitate that. You get a championship out of it. Then you go out and say it wasn't any fun because LeBron made it no fun. Well, now here you are in New Orleans. You've been given the keys to a kingdom and a young prince in Zion Williamson and another solid one in Brandon Ingram and another young potential star in Lonzo Ball. If you don't get it right this year, because people around the rest of the NBA are saying these teams all turned it around real quick. Dallas turned it around real quick with Luka Doncic. They're in the playoffs in year 2. What are you going to do?
City, Memphis.
You better get it done. That's all. All I can tell David Griffin is it better work. Because if it doesn't, there's going to be an uproar in New Orleans because people did not want this. This is not the coach that people wanted. There were a lot of names, but this was not among anybody's that made recommendations or put their opinions out there when the season began. So anybody who says that they were behind this all the way is a liar.
Somewhere, who knows where, Dell Demps, I'm knocking cups with you, bro.
Dell is now assistant in Utah. Dell's assistant coach in Utah now.
Dell up in the Zion Mountains of Utah. I'm knocking cups with you, bro. Sorry. Well, you know what? I don't want to gloat too much, David, because I think in the coming days, we're going to hear that name again. Not Stan, but Jeff.
Jeff coming back home.
And he's going to be the head coach of the Houston Rockets. Everything within me says that Jeff Van Gundy will be the next head coach of the Houston Rockets, and I'm going to be sick about it. I am not going to be happy about that.
I just want to see when they're talking about that they have no intentions to trade James Harden or Russell Westbrook. I just want to see how that meshes with what Jeff Van Gundy likes to do. His freelancing is not a thing that he particularly loves. He got along well with Tracy McGrady, but again, they never got out the first round with Tracy and Yao. So, and Russ is not known for getting out the first round either. If you don't, you have to trade one of them. I'm sorry. If I'm Jeff Van Gundy, if I take that job, whoever took that job, I say one of these guys has to go. One of them has to go.
I'm posting the tweet from Adrian Wojnarowski.
Yeah, I just saw it now. The Woj bomb came across. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and make it official. I don't understand it, bro. I don't, and I guess TD Blacksher said it earlier. Do we not take care of our friends? Because the fact that both Van Gundys are going to come out of obscurity, come out of, at least we won't have to listen to them on the broadcast. There's that.
I mean, what, Jeff's been out of coaching now for 7 years, 8 years? It might be longer than that. Stan has only been 2 years, but Jeff's been out for a while.
But the thinking is that because he's called all these games, he's seen everybody's offense, everybody's defense, he's seen everybody's set, he's seen everybody's adjustments. Good God, I'm an astronaut because I looked up and I saw all the stars, I saw all the moons, I saw all the meteors. I'm an astronaut, bro. I'm an astronaut.
These staffs are going to be so critical to either one of those hires. How they fill out their coaching staffs, who they fill out their coaching staffs with, and who they retain. because the Pelicans have some very good assistants that people are going to be wanting to pick after. Chris Finch has always been a guy that people have highly thought of from his days back in Denver. He interviewed for a couple of head coaching jobs. He may be gone. Jeff Bzdelik, I don't mind if he goes. See you, Jeff. I've never been a fan. See you later. But then you got the assistants that did so much work with Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball last year to make them take this jump. Do you jettison them and add to the lack of continuity for those young players who have experienced nothing but inconsistency in their careers? I mean, some of these guys are on their fourth coach in 5 years.
Yeah. Again, the Van Gundys, man. I don't know who, how, why. I just don't know.
That Pat Riley recommendation letter is a heavy thing, man.
Good Lord, goodness gracious, mercy me. Give me your top 5 coaches in the NBA right now. Right now.
Top 5?
Yep.
Number 1, if you ask me number 1, I'd probably say Rick Carlisle.
Okay.
Rick Carlisle might be number 1.
The dude has definitely climbed up my list as well. Because
Rick Carlisle, as much as the credit that we were giving Spoelstra, Carlisle has done it and gotten more 50-win seasons. You take – I put Spo in that top 5. I would put – I certainly would have – I think Nate McMillan, even though he got fired in Indiana, is one of the top coaches in the league too. I put Stevens at the bottom of that 5 because, 3 conference final appearances in 4 years is a very solid job. Nick Nurse belongs in that group. I said I put Stevens at 5. He's in my 5. Nurse is in that group. Carlisle is in that group. McMillan. And then really, and then it's a lot of people who are the same. It's a lot of people who are the same. Frank Vogel, he's a good coach, but I don't think he's a great coach. I don't think he's great. In Denver, I really like Mike Malone. I really like Mike Malone.
I do too.
I like Quinn Snyder. I think Quinn Snyder has done a very good job in Utah. But there are not a lot of great coaches. It's not as big of it always comes down to what talent you got, but you can mess it up. A coach is more likely to mess it up than make it better. Yeah. That's what I would say. In the NBA, it's more about finding somebody who can handle the management of it. It's not about a great tactician.
Yeah.
That's not really what it's about. Because we've seen it to varying levels. Ultimately it's about can you get buy-in? Either they're gonna believe in it or they don't. And the other part of it is when there is a problem, can you adjust? Yeah. If you are too stubborn and stuck to a system or a style in anything, those are the coaches that don't live.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with you. Spoelstra is in my top 5. Coach of Dallas is in my top 5. I'll get over.
You got Nick Nurse in the 5?
I got Nick Nurse in there. I'm putting Nick Nurse in there. I'm going to put Malone in there for sure.
I like Mike Malone. I got a lot of respect for Mike Malone.
And just to be kind of like, I know you don't want to, y'all want me to love Brad Stevens, but he ain't made it right yet. I'm going with Nate McMillan because Nate did more with less than Stevens did with more. And
Nate had to go through didn't have a healthy roster in either of his last 2 seasons when they got to the post. No Victor Oladipo, no Miles Turner last year. Things just And he won, but he still wins.
Absolutely. So that's my top 5. And Van Gundy's coming back doesn't change that. They don't change that. And what's sad about it is they're going to take over teams that should have a great head coach to go along with some great players. And they don't. They just don't. And there is nothing that you can tell me that the Van Gundys are going to add to New Orleans or Houston that's going to put them over the proverbial top, above where they've been. Don't give me the Rockets, lost in the Western Conference semifinals. So if they make the Western Conference finals, then, that's a success. No, they've been there. Don't give me that. You don't get credit for getting them back to where they've been. If it's not the finals or championship, you don't get credit for retreading where you've been. It's the same thing with New Orleans. Just getting them to the playoffs is not going to be a success for Stan Van Gundy. It's not.
No, that can't be the standard for New Orleans anymore, and it certainly isn't the standard for the Rockets. Like you said, the Rockets were a half of basketball away from the finals 2 years ago.
Yep.
A half of basketball.
Yep.
24 minutes from the finals. I mean, it was that close.
Yep.
And so to say, if you don't get a championship and you are verging on the precipice of the downside of the mountain of James Harden's career.
Yeah.
You are right at that. Either you're at the peak or at the just post peak of his career. So those times when he can be the best player on your team and carry you all the way, when his game he's not like a LeBron James where his game, the physical dominance of it will age really, really well. Like, it's going to be difficult when James Harden is 35 to get to the lane and get the fouls that he gets and those types of things. How does that progress? So are you getting closer to a championship, or are you just trying to make sure? That makes you question, too, how attractive was the Houston job to other people?
In the first place. Yep.
Did agents tell their clients stay away from that? The cap situation, the Harden and Westbrook situation, the ownership, all of those things are just a recipe for disaster. And I think a lot of people would say, yeah, because if you're Jeff Van Gundy and you just want to get back in the game and at least somewhat of the organization in Houston, and maybe because now there's a power vacuum with Daryl Morey gone, you can get a little bit more control, then maybe that's appealing to you. But if you're a young coach, especially if you're a young African-American coach, it's your first job, that's a recipe to never get a head coaching job again, because it can go so badly so quickly that people will put you on the sidelines and never let you off.
Yeah.
You'll be sitting back in that third chair again.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back with more David Grubb. Keith Hennig asked a good question. Where is Pop in our top five? I'll talk about that when we come back right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
I'm Gary Bledsoe, Texas NAACP president. In my lifetime, we have worked and sacrificed to make real progress.
That's right, Gary. I'm Claude Cummings, Vice President of the Communication Workers of America. Our community is under attack again.
Our jobs are being exported. The court system has largely turned its back on us, and people need to realize, Claude, is the last election amounts to a true revolution, where all those gains in civil rights and human progress are actually being targeted.
I know powers in Washington want to deny health care to working people who have pre-existing conditions, eliminate environmental protections for minority communities. It even encourages racism.
We thought those days were gone.
Dr. King said the time is always right to do what is right.
Let's do what's right. Let's vote and get your family and friends to vote, too. If you don't, you should not be surprised to see drastic changes in your world.
Vote early or on election day.
Political advertising paid for by the Communications Workers of America.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 a.m. and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
This is Barack Obama, and I want to talk with you about the choice you have for your next U.S. Senator. I hope you'll vote for MJ Hager. MJ served 3 tours in Afghanistan as a combat search and rescue pilot, receiving a Purple Heart and Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor. She's also a working mom who knows the struggles families face to afford health care, which is why she'll fight to protect the Affordable Care Act. Progress we all worked so hard to achieve, and Republicans keep trying to repeal. And MJ is firmly committed to making the reforms we need to address systemic racism and create a more fair and equitable America. And that's why
I gotta get one more in,
early
I missed
or
it.
on
I didn't
November
realize I missed
3rd.
it
I
before.
hope you'll join me in supporting
one more
Democrat
after this.
MJ Hager. We need her in the the United States Senate, but she needs your vote to get there.
I'm MJ Hagar, and I approve this message.
Use of military record does not imply endorsement from Department of Defense. Paid for by MJ for Texas.
Hey, don't forget, early voting is taking place right now. You can vote today through the 30th. Today through the 30th. If you need to find out where a polling place is near you, all you need to do is go to harrisvotes.com. That's harrisvotes.com. Get out and vote.
First Lady Michelle Obama.
If you think things cannot possibly get worse, trust me, they can and they will if we don't make a change in this election. It is up to us.
Add your voice. Vote for every Democrat, start to finish. You can vote early from October 13th through the 30th or on Election Day, November 3rd.
We have to vote in numbers that cannot be ignored.
Paid for by the first Tuesday back. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Hey, what's up? This your boy James Fortune, and you are listening to The Lunch Break. Keep it locked.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Again, get out and vote. Early voting going on now. And to the millions of folks who've already gotten out and voted early, thank you, thank you, thank you. To those who've not yet got out an early vote, you still got time, again, through October 30th. And if you want to get a ballot by mail, you still have until the 23rd to do that. Still have until the 23rd to do that. And you got to have that in by November 3rd, which is Election Day. All right, so let's come back to it, David. It's Winning Wednesday. We were talking about top 5 coaches right now in the league, and I base mine off of this past season, the playoffs and the bubble and all that kind of stuff. Pop wasn't on that list. Pop wasn't on that list for me, not top 5. He's still top 10. I'm not saying he's trash, but Pop's got some work to do. Pop and the general manager of that organization, it's still R.C. Buford, still have some work to do to rebuild that franchise. A name that I keep hearing could possibly be on their way to San Antonio would be a good one, and that's Gordon Hayward. I think he would be a great fit in the Greg Popovich offense. Don't know how much defense he's going to get out of him, but and then what they got to figure out what they're going to do with DeMar DeRozan. Are they going to keep him?
And LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean,
Right.
all of them. Because, I mean,
Right.
at some point, either they got to turn it over to those guards, the Derek White and, that group of young players, Lonnie Walker.
DeJounte Murray, those guys.
Yeah, DeJounte, you got to either turn it over to them because you're at the stage DeMar DeRozan plus 30, LaMarcus Aldridge plus 30, very high salaries, and you have a ceiling with what they can accomplish. Look, the Spurs played their behinds off after everybody went down. They came into the bubble, and they gave people fits with that small ball lineup. But and that's a testament to Greg Popovich being prepared. That's a testament to his staff. He has one of the best staffs in the league, too.
Yep.
But on top of, like you said, for the Spurs, there's been regression. They compete. They are still one of the best prepared teams, but their talent level has gone backwards. They are older and slower, and they have to make this transition. And as you said, these rankings, as we say, are current.
Right.
All time, Greg Popovich is unassailable. His place in history is where it is.
Right.
But in the current scope of the league, there are some things that he's got to do, that he needs to evaluate with that roster. And maybe they are going to adjust their style of play. Maybe we will see more small lineups out of Spurs. But I know, again, his principles are he loves the post, and he's going to have an effective post player out there. So whether it's LaMarcus Aldridge or they make a move for somebody else or they move DeMar DeRozan, they're going to have to find another star. And it doesn't have to be a superstar, a franchise carrying star, but they need somebody that you can count on and give the ball to who's under the age of 30 and who can give you 20 to 25 every night.
Yep. I know that they tried to go after one of the Morris brothers and had him, technically on a deal. And he's like, not so fast. Let me see what else. Yeah. So, again, Pop is Pop all time. He's on my Mount Rushmore of coaches. But as far as this past season and, what we saw come out of it, Pop is top 10, not top 5. It's going to be very interesting. All right, let's jump on over to the NFL. Week 6 is on the books, and I'll announce the winner of the deal. But now here comes week number 7. And the most recent power rankings were just like I had them, except they put Kansas City over Chicago, and I think they got Chicago at number 6. So I'm not mad about that. I get it. Is Pittsburgh the best team in the NFL right now? Because that defense, bro, I mean, in a minute. Now, I know we're only 6 games in, but in a minute, if that defense keeps doing what it's been doing, it's got to be up there with one of the better defenses we've seen.
The thing is that it's hard for me to determine in the NFL how good defense is because so many of them this year are really bad. You know what I mean? Like a lot of teams that we thought were going to be better defensively are awful. But Pittsburgh, as we talked about on Monday, I do think Pittsburgh right now is the best team in the NFL. They have the best resume. They play the best football on both sides of the ball. They are the cleanest team in the league right now. That to me says a lot too. It's not only that they're aggressive and fast, but they are disciplined. They're not making mistakes. They're not getting penalties. They're not, blowing assignments. They're not just winning because they're better than people. They're winning because they're playing better than people too. And that puts them to me at number 1. What we did talk about too going into Monday night's game was seeing if Kansas City could be physical and seeing if Buffalo could maintain it. Buffalo did not, and I think we learned a lot about Buffalo, and we learned a lot about Kansas City that they could commit to handing the ball off and win a game in the manner that they did. So that was impressive for me to see that out of them. So I like that Kansas City sits still in the top 5. But yeah, Pittsburgh right now is the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, Keith Hennig said NERP Seattle. I got to just tell you, I'm not as
Seattle's defense is still not there yet.
That's the only thing I'd say. Offensively, I'll give it to Seattle. But defense, and oh yeah, by the way, I'll give it to Seattle, but Pittsburgh is not far behind. But defense is so light years ahead in Pittsburgh than it is in Seattle. Seattle's been a little suspect from time to time this current season.
And Seattle's defense is about to get it hard. They got a tough schedule coming up. And so
our division schedule is tough. That division is ungodly. Anybody can win that division, literally.
Oh yeah, because they got 3 games in the next 5. They've got the Rams, they got the Cardinals twice. I think they have 1 San Francisco game in there too. So it's like it's not going to be easy for Seattle over these next few weeks. They've got to come out of this. If you're hoping for a 4-1 if you're Seattle, but more likely it's a 3-2 out of the next 5 games. So if they're 8-2 at 10, that's a solid place to be. But yeah, it's going to be very difficult for their defense. We know how punishing San Francisco could be running the football, and that's where Seattle struggled to stop people. You know that Kyler Murray can extend plays and get out there and do things for an Arizona team that still runs it really well, considering they still put up over like 120 rushing yards a game in Arizona. And then the Rams can run.
Yeah. Kenyon Drake has been a very nice surprise. Now I see why they got David Anderson out of there. It's like, bro, you
could have got David Anderson out of there for anything at that money in his production. I mean, David Johnson, y'all paying that money, and you see what David Johnson has done for Houston. So.
Yeah, he should have had to leave with Bill O'Brien. Let's go through these games. Tomorrow night, you've got the Giants and Philly. Philly is just, somebody asked, one of our awesome sisters asked on Twitter, is it time to make a change from Carson Wentz? And I threw it up there. It's Hurts time, baby. It's Hurts time. You're not going to lose anything drastically by giving Jalen Hurts a chance to come in there now.
If you're Philly, the Carson Wentz thing, you've had to bench this guy twice in the last few years. And you can say, one was because of injury, but you had no rush to get him back when Nick Foles was playing. And then you benched him another time, got back to the Super Bowl without him. This was supposed to be your franchise QB. He's not established that at year 4. Year 4. Yeah. If you haven't established it by year 4, it's not working in that place. Yeah. That's all. That's what it means. I don't know what the rest of his career is going to look like, but he ain't going to cut it at Philly. It's time to move on. And the sad thing is if there are people who are not fans of either of those teams who are watching tonight, you got to get a better television package because there's no reason to tune in to this unless you are paid to or you are a fan or relative of these two teams.
I'm watching the World Series.
This is terrible football. This is going to be just one of the worst things you will ever. 3 hours of just misery.
I'm scanning the football game via my phone and my tablet, and I'm watching the World Series. I'm not flipping over that nonsense. So, yeah. All right. So who you got in that one? You got Philadelphia. There's no way they can lose to the Giants, right?
Is there? That's the sad thing about that division is that they are all so terrible that they can beat each other on any week. So if Carson Wentz throws a couple pick sixes, then what happens? I mean, if they fumble, what happens? The thing is, you're going up against Daniel Jones, who turns it over like he's a chef, like he's a baker. So,
why is he an NFL quarterback? Why is he an NFL quarterback? I just need to know.
Why was he a first round NFL quarterback at that? Who saw first round out of this guy? Again, if you're Colin Kaepernick sitting at home right now every week, and you sit there and you're looking at this stuff and you're watching these people get paid, and you're like, come on. Come on.
The backup quarterback in Jacksonville that they're talking about sitting Gardner Minshew down. God, I can never remember his name. Played at NC State. He's the guy that they ran Russell Wilson.
Yeah, long neck. Mike Glennon.
Mike Glennon. Bruh, if Mike Glennon gets in a game and takes an NFL snap and Colin Kaepernick has not been brought in for a workout yet, this thing is a joke. It is a farce. It's not real. Santa Claus is more real than the NFL's commitment to diversity and social justice issues.
So don't ever pretend. People love to say that sports is a meritocracy. It is not a meritocracy. It is just as much about like any other business. Yes, you will get messed up if you don't produce, but there are plenty of people not on rosters or behind people who are better than the guy in front of them and who are not playing for either money, coach's preference, just stupidity. The best players are not always on the field.
Bro, I'm just telling you. So anyway, I'm gonna go with Philadelphia tonight, and that ain't saying much. All right,
that game might end up being like 9-6, 10-6, 13-7, something like it. It's not gonna be pretty. I don't see it's not an instant classic waiting to happen.
Definitely not. Cincinnati and Cleveland. Cleveland at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, because Baker Mayfield, I think that Cleveland's his own team is about to turn on him. They're tired. They should be better. They have the players to be better. And the one element that's holding them back is Baker Mayfield. And Joe Burrow, with the worst offensive line in the NFL probably in front of him, has stood up each and every week and put up very, very good numbers. Has not turned the ball over, has not, looked shocked in the pocket. I think this is a game for Burrow to have the numbers equal the effort on both sides of the ball, and that they'll squeak by and beat Cleveland, because I just don't think Cleveland wants. I don't think they want to play for Baker Mayfield anymore. I don't think those guys want to go into the huddle with him. He's killing them.
And we got to get Willie Gibson on to talk about that. He covers the Cleveland Browns. Bruh, is it worse than I thought it was? And I already knew it was pretty bad. We saw Case Keenum last week.
This is what happened when you take a guy and you give him a pass for his attitude and everything everybody's talking about. This is the kind of guy, the swagger that you want to see, that you would not give that credit to certain other quarterbacks for that. When you come in, we saw a decent rookie campaign. Then you saw last year him lead the league in turnovers, and he's on pace to be number 1 or number 2 again this year. He misses receivers consistently. He does not have command of his team. Again, this is what we talk about. If you're not progressing, if you're not going forward, You're going backwards. And Baker Mayfield is not going forward. He's not better in year 3 than he was in year 1.
I got Cincinnati over Cleveland in that one as well. New Orleans and Carolina.
I just had a long talk about this one today. That was the show we recorded, and it'll be out this afternoon. I'm scared of this one because they put the Saints in as a 7.5-point favorite, and the Saints are only 3 points better than their competition this season. They're giving up 30 points a game. The Panthers are well aware of what they do. They're 29-29 all time, and Carolina plays the Saints better than anybody. They are the best rival that the Saints have had in that division. They are not the most bitter. That's right. Atlanta.
Right.
But the best team in that division that matches up with the Saints year in and year out is Carolina. And I think that this game is a game that goes down to 3 points. And I'll say Carolina's going to win that game.
Goodness. David!
I've not been impressed by the Saints this season. Look, their last 2 wins. You go overtime against a rookie quarterback at home in Justin Herbert. And then you had to hold on to beat the Lions. And the Saints are giving up the secondary is terrible.
Yeah.
They only have 3 picks this whole year, and 2 of them were in week 1. Janoris Jenkins coming back from injury. And the Panthers, those 3 wide receivers, Robbie Anderson, who can get deep, leading the NFL in yardage right now. Like, if he's leading at the way DeAndre Hopkins got out the gate and Robbie Anderson is caught up to him,
yeah.
And then you have guys like Curtis Samuel, and you got, they are going to run the Saints sideline to sideline a lot. And if Christian McCaffrey is back this weekend, and they say that he may be back, it's not likely, but he may play.
Yeah.
The Saints are going to score. They always going to score, but the defense is so bad right now.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints in a close one, but I'm going to go with the Saints coming off of a bye. That's the one little edge I'm giving. Coming off.
Yeah, last year off the bye, they got stomped by Atlanta.
That was Atlanta. Throw the records out against Atlanta. I'm going with the Saints. Dallas at Washington.
That one really might end up in a tie. That one might be a tie. You get in a Red Rocket and you bench Dwayne Haskins, and this is going to be just awful offenses. Dallas is almost in mutiny mode now, and I think Washington, Ron Rivera, he's working himself into getting fired after one season. It's another one of those NFC least games where nobody scores. Nobody gets. Dallas will win. I think Dallas will win just because they have better talent. They're a better team, but it's not going to be pretty to watch.
Who's the backup quarterback for Dallas again?
Now? Oh my God, I don't even know.
Bonaducci or somebody. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that is crazy when they said who the backup quarterback was for the Cowboys. I can't see. Hold on. Oh, Ben DiNucci. Ben DiNucci is the backup quarterback.
I don't even know what school did he go to.
Ben DiNucci, it don't matter. It's Ben DiNucci. You know Ben.
How long you been DiNucci?
It's Ben DiNucci. Ben, what's up?
And I just love that a month ago people were saying Dak is in trouble. Andy Dalton going to take Dak's job. Okay.
Dak just made more money on his off day.
All right.
He made more money on his off day than
Dak can show up like Kunta Kinte minus a foot, and he's going to get his full money from Dallas at this point.
All right, let me go. The game of the week, Pittsburgh and Tennessee. Pittsburgh at Tennessee.
Man, that's going to be some hitting. That's going to be some – that's old school right there. I'm going to take Tennessee.
What?
I'm going to take Tennessee.
Well, just because you took Tennessee, I was already going to take Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
I just like what Tennessee's the way they've been playing the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
They're gonna ride the hot, like they're hot. Like I'll take the hot right now. They're hot.
3 words for you. Watch this defense.
Look, I don't. This will not be This will be a game that I want to watch for every minute.
Okay, me too.
I think it's absolutely the game of the week, and there's not one close.
Yeah, that's man, I got to find a way to watch it because it's on CBS, and we'll be watching the Texans. But anyway, Jacksonville at the Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah, all day. No
Herbert
discussion.
looks good. Herbert looks really good.
Man, I hate it for Tyrod Taylor. I do. I really hate it for him.
But I tell you what, Tyrod Taylor gonna get his money from somebody though.
Yeah, either a doctor's office is gonna sign it or the Chargers are gonna sign it. Detroit at Atlanta.
Detroit.
I got 2-0. I got Atlanta going 2 in a row under Raheem Morris.
Julio's not. Is Julio playing this weekend? I'm trying to remember. Is Julio back this week?
Probably not.
If Julio's not back, then I give Detroit the edge.
Boy, watch them foul, watch them dirty birds. I know why you don't want to root for them, because it's hard for a Saint fan to root for them dirty birds. They going 2-0 under Raheem Morris, bro. They going 2-0 under Raheem. They got a head coach named Raheem, bro.
Yeah, I love Raheem, man. It's been way too long for him to get that opportunity.
You already know.
I think he got messed over in Tampa. I think Tampa did him wrong.
The Glazer brothers will always do a brother wrong. They did Tony Dungy wrong. You knew they were going to do Raheem wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got the Falcons in that one. All right. So let's see. All right. Look, gosh, I hate to do it. I got to take a quick break. Got to get MJ Hager on. We'll come back with the rest of the games right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
This is Barack Obama, and I want to talk with you about the choice you have for your next U.S. Senator. I hope you'll vote for MJ Hager. MJ served 3 tours in Afghanistan as a combat search and rescue pilot, receiving a Purple Heart and Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor. She's also a working mom who knows the struggles families face to afford health care, which is why she'll fight to protect the Affordable Care Act. Progress we all worked so hard to achieve, and Republicans keep trying to repeal. And MJ is firmly committed to making the reforms we need to address systemic racism and create a more fair and equitable America. And that's why, whether you vote early or on November 3rd, I hope you'll join me in supporting Democrat MJ Hager. We need her in the United States Senate, but she needs your vote to get there.
I'm MJ Hagar, and I approve this message.
Use of military record does not imply endorsement from Department of Defense. Paid for by MJ for Texas.
I'm Gary Bledsoe, Texas NAACP president. In my lifetime, we have worked and sacrificed to make real progress. That's right, Gary. I'm Claude Cummings, Vice President of the Communication Workers of America. Our community is under attack again. Our jobs are being exported. The court system has largely turned its back on us, and people need to realize as the last
like this
revolution, where all those
they got people saying we should have just kept Gentry if you're gonna hire Van Gundy.
powers in Washington will deny health care to working people who have pre-existing conditions, eliminate environmental protections for minority communities. It even encourages racism. We thought those days were gone.
Who's his social media account will be cool.
The time is always right to do what is right. Let's do what's right. Let's vote and get your family and friends to vote too. If you don't, you should not be surprised to see drastic changes in your world.
Kingsbury is going to be in the NFL and in the NBA. Which brother you going to give a shout like that?
We don't get the fail up.
11:40 a.m. on 90.
You saw Adam Gase, right? You saw them numbers.
KYOK.
Beautiful. We don't get the fail up like that. We don't get the Lane Kiffin pass.
On the lunch break.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break. Big shout out to my godson, Major. What's going on? This is why I love you. All right, so we're back. David Grubb, AJ Jones, Winning Wednesday. We're getting back to these games in the NFL this week. If you want to be in the lunch break weekly, keeping up with the Joneses challenge, you got to have your picks in by tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Email them, aj@kyoksports.com, aj@kyoksports.com. Or text me 832-403-5005, 832-403-5005. Give me the winner of each game. And then when you get down to the Monday night game, Bears at the Rams, give me who you think is going to win that one and the final score, the complete final score of both teams. All right? All right. And then you can be like this week's winner and win $50 in the lunch break weekly, keeping up with the Joneses challenge. All right. We left off on Detroit and Atlanta. You said Detroit. I said Atlanta. Buffalo at the Jets. Buffalo at the Jets. Does Buffalo get their whatever they had? One mojo, one swagger whatever they had, do they get it back against the Jets, Jets?
I mean, yeah, you get anything back against the Jets. You could probably get them to go into their locker room and take their wallets if you want. Because they ain't putting up resistance for anybody.
Nothing.
And they've already and you've already seen it. Now there's the split. Greg Williams, who has been known to do this is why he does not stay in places very long. He is a locker room lawyer, and he has split that Jets locker room by saying the offense ain't doing its job. Now he's not lying. But once you have that come out, what do you get? You get finger pointing by the defense. Every time the offense goes 3 and out now, the defense is looking over at those guys and like, see, but we going to catch all the flack for giving up points because y'all got us out here. The Jets are done. I mean, it's like, they've been done for what? I don't know how long, but this Adam Gase thing, you talked about people failing up. Adam Gase is failing up. He literally is. His team gets worse every year. It has been his record. Factually, every year, offenses get worse under Adam Gase. And yet here he is being entrusted with Sam Darnold, who clearly has talent, but is not getting coached.
Right.
And is not getting protected.
Yep.
People want to put stuff on Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell came in and look, he didn't stop being Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
The Jets stopped being, never had the ability to protect him. They didn't know what to do with him. They didn't get him in the passing game the way he was used in Pittsburgh. Yep. They didn't put in packages similar. The problem in the Jets of just Woody Johnson, and we know what kind of person Woody Johnson is.
Horrible.
And look at the coaches that he's hired over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody that tells me that billionaires are brilliant, all I'm saying is Woody Johnson. That's it. That's all I got to say. All right, so I got Buffalo on that one as well. Seattle at Arizona, gonna be a good game. 3:05 live on Fox. I'm all over that one. Who you got?
That's the test. This is what we just talked about with Seattle. That's the test. At Arizona is a little bit different, than being in Seattle. It's Kyler Murray looked so good last week. He looked so good. I just go gut and I'll say Arizona. I'm gonna just gut it and say Arizona.
I'm going Pete Carroll over Cliff Kingsbury. That's what it's going to come down to for me. I'm going Seattle in that one. KC and Denver, surprisingly, is an interesting matchup now. Who you got?
Oh, KC. Okay. I don't think it's as interesting as people think. I think Kansas City showed on Monday that they can play multiple styles of football, and I was really impressed by that.
Edwards-Helaire is just a pleasure to watch.
I have to take back every negative thing I said about Clyde Edwards-Helaire before his senior year at LSU. That is a man-child, and he is at his size, 5'8", 220.
Yep.
He's shifty. He's a bowling ball at the same time. A lot of Darren Sproles in him. But stronger.
Right. Yep. I like him. A pleasure to watch. I knew he was going to be good in that offense. San Francisco at New England. Who you got?
San Francisco. I don't like the way New England is playing offensively right now. George Kittle is a beast among beasts. That dude, I could watch George Kittle block for an hour. I love George Kittle. I think he's the best tight end in the NFL. And all you have to do is stick to the running game and get him enough touches. And I think San Francisco wins that game just because I don't think New England can score.
Okay. All right. I got New England in that one as well. And Tampa Bay at Vegas.
Ooh, that one is really interesting.
It is.
Because Tampa's defense should be the story, not their offense.
Right.
Tampa's defense has been better than their offense this year.
Yep.
Vegas has so many interesting pieces offensively. The question is, can they give themselves a chance?
Mm-hmm.
Because their defense is up and down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick Vegas on this one. I'm gonna go roll with Vegas. I think Gruden wants he got that thing against Kansas City and he had to get that win.
Yep.
And I think he's gonna approach Tampa the same way. I gotta get these guys. I gotta get them, and his players. For some reason, his group might buy into it. And I think Henry Ruggs makes that one big play that they need.
I'm going with the brother coordinators. I'm going with the offense coordinator. I'm going with Todd Bowles on the defensive side. I'm going with Tampa on that. Now, it's hard for a road team, especially from the East Coast, go out there in the mountains and win a game like that. And I hate to say it, but Vegas has played better. I don't know if it's Gruden or somebody else that we don't know behind the scenes, but the Raiders have been a better team. I'm going to lean on Tampa Bay. I'm going with them. Monday night, Chicago at the Rams.
Chicago. I like Chicago right now. No. I'm gonna flip that. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm going with the Rams.
I'm going with the Rams at home. The one team that has the player that can do what the other guy on the other side can do is the Rams. I mean, Aaron Donald it's just time out to oh yeah, but this, oh yeah, but that. There is no comparison with Aaron Donald and anybody else right now. None.
He's the most disruptive player in the NFL.
Leading the league in sacks from the middle of the line.
The last time we saw that was Warren Sapp. That's the last time we had a defensive tackle lead the league in sacks is Warren Sapp. And Donald is about to do that for the second time in 3 years.
Yep.
So
all right, that's who we got. All right, what didn't we talk? Oh, I didn't give the winner of the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Challenge. Let me give the honorable mention to the 7-7s and up. DB was 7-7. I was 8-6. Let's see. MD Merrick was 8-6. Trey was 8-6. Keith Hennick 8-6. Todd 8-6. Keisha Kelly 8-6. And then we had some 9-5s. Boston, T-Bone, Danny was 9-5. That's the De La Salle boy. He was 9-5. George Griffin, 9-5. Big Mike was 9-5. And then we had some 10-4s. Big Time Floyd, 10-4. Chi-Town, who won it all last year, 10-4. My girl Erica, 10-4. Alexis, 10-4. Guess what? That wasn't good enough. Milo was 11-3, but he was tied with Philip at 11-3, and also tied with Jessica and Mark at 11-3. And if you remember earlier in the show, I said this one did not come down to the tiebreaker. The winner for this week, Ferdinand, was 2. And I think he would have been real close to the final score. Final score was 38-10. He had it at 28-7, Arizona. So Ferdinand, congratulations, bro. You just won another $50 courtesy of Victor's Smoke Box Barbecue and Catering, where your boy Kevin Victor is the proprietor, along with his lovely wife, Ashley. Again, if you need catering, if you need some good smoked barbecue, you want to call Victor's Smokes Box Barbecue and Catering, and they will take good care of you. In fact, let me pull up a number for Kevin Victor. How'd you do on the week, brother?
I know I was above 500. I don't remember the number right now. I was above 5. I didn't do great. There were a couple of ones that got me, but I was above 500. I haven't gone below 9 in a week yet, so I'm good. Solid.
Okay. All right. I got a phone number for you for Victor Smoke Box and Barbecue, 832-414-2409. That's 832-414-2409. And we got their link right there on the show. So thank you, Kevin Victor, always being a good brother, good sponsor of the show. And again, congratulations, Ferdinand. Let me give you the top 10 in the rankings real quick, because the top 6 will go on to compete for $500 at the end of the season. Number 1, Ferdinand, 69 wins. Number 2, Milo with 66. Number 3, Alexis with 63. Number 4, Big Mike with 62. Also, at number 5, you got 2. MD or Merrick is 61. Chi-Town at 61. Keith Hennick has dropped out of the top 6. He's at number 7 with 60. At number 8, you got Amber with 58. Keisha Kelly with 58. And then at number 10, you got Trey with 56 wins. So you want to get in that top 6 so you can compete for $500. Don't forget, you want to get your picks in by tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, 7 on the East Coast, 5 in the mountains, and 4 o'clock on the West Coast. Get them into me. AJ at KYOKsports.com, AJ at KYOKsports.com, or text me 832-403-5005, 832-403-5005. Keith Hennick said, time to get busy. Yeah, you got to get busy. You don't want to be number 7, bro. Whatever you do, don't be number 7. Don't be number 7.
That's the worst.
It is. It's like calling into the radio station. I'm looking for caller 12. You win $1 million, caller 12, and you're calling number 11. I'd rather be calling.
It's being 4th at the Olympics, man. You 4th at the Olympics. You know, there ain't no 10 medal. That bronze is the last one you get to see.
That's all right. David, tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, what you got coming up. When's the next show drop?
Yeah, so we'll be putting out one this afternoon. Like I said, all setting up on the Saints as they get ready for the Panthers on Hard to Paint. Every platform, Stitcher, I guess whatever one you use, Apple, they're everywhere. You can also visit the website, hitpwithdg.com, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMGrub.
That's all right, brother. I appreciate you doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate your brotherhood. I appreciate your love. And, bro, you always make this show go. So thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I always appreciate the invitation. I never take it for granted.
Well, listen, when we talk to you again on Monday, I want to hear these words. I got the house.
You'll probably hear that before then if I get it. You'll know. So I'll tell you. So
on behalf of my niece, Daddy, get the house. Get the house, Daddy.
Yeah, I got to go pick her up from school in a little bit. So she's going to ask me. I know. Did we get the house there? I don't know, baby. I don't know. So
tell the whole family we said hello, man. We'll talk to you again see you again on Monday. We'll definitely talk to you before then.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one now.
All right, you too. David Grubb, man. I really, really love having him on because it's always good stuff. Good breakdown. Again, for those who have not gotten your picks in, there's a little analysis for you to go on what to think about as you're making your picks. But listen, don't make them because of us. You make them because of you. All right, let's get out of the way. Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. In the morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff Get Up Mornings. 6 a.m. to 9. Then you got Shiloh Radio that comes in. She'll be in. And then your boy will be back with Throwback Thursday. Should have some special guests joining me. I wonder, is Willie Gibson coming back tomorrow? Willie, you coming back tomorrow? All right, so anyway, we'll check you out this time tomorrow. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I do love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you, and whatever you do, give people their 6 feet, man. I was in the store the other day, and folks can't spell 6 feet. Give me my 6 feet, and whatever you do, when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism, all right? Y'all be blessed. Talk to you tomorrow.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. In a review written by doctors for the American College of Cardiology, doctors report that long-term heart damage is likely in some survivors of the virus. The coronavirus affects blood clotting, damages the lungs, and their ability to process fresh oxygen into the blood. Earlier this week, U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar said that anyone who wants to get a COVID-19 vaccine will be able to do so by March or early April of 2021. Azar's announcement comes as many Americans continue to cast doubt on the safety of a vaccine. The Fair Isaac Corporation, known as FICO, reports that the average consumer credit score has gone up during the pandemic. The average credit score now stands at 711. For some families, the pandemic brought credit relief by allowing them to pay off their debts faster using all or a portion of their stimulus checks. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, y'all. I sincerely hope y'all enjoyed the show. I know I did. Again, David Grubb is simply one of the best. So y'all have a blessed rest of your Wednesday. I want y'all to be safe. I want y'all to get out and vote if you have not gotten out to vote. And if you have, be sure that you can make sure somebody else does. If you got to, get somebody to the polls in your area, please do what you can to make sure that they can get to and from the polls. It doesn't cost a whole lot to send an Uber to pick them up and drop them back off. Trust me, I've done it. So if you can't do it, you hit me up and let me know. I'll make sure they get to and from the polls. But we got to vote like our lives depend upon it, because they do. Okay. All right. And then y'all keep the officer's family in prayer who was, unfortunately had his life taken in a senseless shooting on yesterday, and the officer that's recovering. Please keep him in prayer, as well as the young man whose life was taken away from him in the incident here in Houston. And then pray for Nigeria, y'all. Please pray for Nigeria. I know we got this America First thing going on. We got to love everybody, man. We got to love everybody. And the way things are going in Nigeria, it's going to be bad. So please keep Nigeria in your prayers. Again, not this, definitely this. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.